Well, Sean, this is just a scary story. The Spokane Police Department says the woman is recovering after sustaining minor injuries.
Yeah, Sam Kalai, traffic certainly affected. Crews were able to get one lane back open here in the last few minutes.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for The Pulse. I'm Noah Boelter, filling in for Bradley Warren. Let's start in world news, where Australia is now banning children under 16 from using social media. And Nonstop Local's Belle Lewis spoke with those filing the lawsuit today and tells us why they want access to this emissions data. The more people I've spoken with here, the more I'm realizing they are all over the place with how they are reacting to this plea deal. You can see here the grass field. And a change of tone from the president, what he says today about the Insurrection Act. Nonstop Local at 4:30 starts right now.
Yeah, Sam Kalai, according to the Spokane Fire Department, there are no known injuries with this fire right now, but you can see behind me Avista Stadium is still burning.
And we have breaking news right now. This coming out of Washington State University in their search for a new head coach. Sources tell us Washington State is looking at Missouri offensive coordinator Kirby Moore to do this.
I am so proud of those students and proud that they are having these feelings. They want to make a difference, and they are making a difference.
Jim Leedy says education takes many forms, the kind inside the classroom and outside.
It's civics. They're interacting with their community. They're learning about politics. They're having a voice. We should be encouraging this. We should be encouraging this education of knowing what's going on in your world and the fact that you can change it.
A student organizer at Lewis and Clark High School says this walkout was about channeling frustrations.
Young people right now have a lot of anger, and anger can be dangerous because if it's not utilized and turned into something like useful, it can turn into hatred. And so we wanted to turn young people's anger into something tangible, and in this case it was a student walkout.
Leedy says some of those frustrations extend beyond the classroom.
I've seen a lot more fear and uncertainty. Students are worried about leaving their family members and coming home, and maybe they're gone.
That uncertainty is part of the reason for the local protests.
And right now it seems like things are moving so fast, especially in our nation, and it's tiring, it's exhausting, and students are fed up.
People want to be heard, right? They have all this stuff boxed up in them, and they just want to be heard.
That's why in 2025, the Spokane Police Department introduced their dialogue team.
Our sole purpose is to build relationships with our community members in a way that helps enhance their public safety and also encourages and protects their right to First Amendment activities.
Leedy says he's never seen law enforcement take the approach that the dialogue team does at local protests.
They're not so much looking at shutting it down or having an order to disperse or anything like that. They want to keep protests going. But if there is somebody there that is breaking the law, they want to be able to take care of that. So if there's an individual that is violently attacking somebody or causing some sort of damage, they want to let people know, hey, we're here, we're going to have to go in and we're actually going to have to do something with this person, but we want your protest to continue.
Leedy says he's watched the dialogue team change perception between protesters and police.
Now having this conversation, we're all taking a break from the arguments or whatever you might call it and saying, okay, let me look at it from your view and have a better understanding of where you're coming from.
That new viewpoint, part of the reason Leedy says recent protests have been much more peaceful in Spokane.
It makes a big difference, in a world where people are like, we don't care about your feelings or anything, or your feelings are making you weak or anything like that. No, having this communication, getting to know each other really helps us have a better understanding how our world works. And it really makes it so that our community comes together and works together instead of driving us apart. So dialogue is very important.
In Spokane, I'm Noah Boelter, Nonstop Local.
Law enforcement showed up in force today at the Valley 206 apartments in Spokane Valley, and we stood just feet away as police took one man into custody after a standoff that lasted several hours.
This was the moment police realized the suspect had escaped the building they were surrounding and was moving outside of the police perimeter. I was shooting on my phone as those same officers took the suspect to the ground and placed him in custody. It was the culmination of an hours-long standoff that started in the late night hours. Neighbors described what they heard and saw.
I just heard a lot of commotion and a lot of banging and screaming and hollering and saying that, stay in place because there's something going on.
Some of those bangs louder than others.
I have anxiety really bad, so yeah, I was nervous and scared, and hearing the banging and stuff like that, it was just a little too much for me.
The SWAT team fully ready for wherever this standoff could go, many equipped with gas masks and body shields, while drones gave them an eye in the sky. Witnesses tell me the person they were after broke into an apartment, forcing the man who lived there to evacuate.
Craig came down scared, hunched down, trying to get it, not involved in it. But they did wreck his apartment pretty bad.
One man watching the standoff says he knows the man captured by police. He tells me there is a criminal history here, but the suspect is working to change his life.
Since then, I guess, yeah, he's just been focusing on his kids more or less, but, he's still tangled up in, he's had a warrant out for his arrest for a failure to appear in court, so.
All of this unconfirmed by police on the scene. I asked Zane if there is any other reason why police might be responding to this scene with such force.
He didn't like cops. I don't like cops,
Some neighbors say this area does not usually have problems like this, while others say each building is a different story. In Spokane Valley, I'm Noah Boelter.
I hear all the time from survivors that first contact, the thing that really strikes them about it is being believed.
That's Brianna Berner. She says isolation, intimidation, and dominance are 3 factors YWCA Spokane looks for when assessing a potential domestic violence situation. Those answering the phones are a safety line.
To have that first contact with someone who says, you don't deserve this, and I believe what you're saying, that's life-changing.
Those taking the call are there to listen or share information. The call itself will not trigger a legal process.
It can, if that's what they need, and if that's the journey that they're on, but it can also just be someone to help them know they're not crazy, they're not alone, they do have options, and that the YW is here for them.
And the number of calls received is increasing. YWCA Spokane estimates they will get 1,500 more calls this year than the year prior.
We see it as one of the most critical offerings that we have. So if it came down to it, it would be looking at other services that we have and making adjustments so we can continue to make sure that that helpline is here.
As October comes to a close, YWCA Spokane is sitting about $8,000 short of their funding goal. They're thankful for those who have gotten them this far, and they are counting on the continued generosity and grace from the community to close the gap.
It's not an easy job to be on the front lines, listening to the traumatic experiences of others. Our advocates are always there, ready for those tough conversations.
If you haven't donated but you still want to, any donations made after today will go to YWCA Spokane's area of greatest need. In Spokane, I'm Noah Boelter, Nonstop Local.